Come.
For our next POI rating, we have Fort Choppa. It is a tier 4 POI. It's actually fairly big. Hey, local idiot. This is actually like a POI that I actually like. I usually hate all of the military-based POIs like these that are in the middle of nowhere. I suck. Because they're usually really shit. This one's actually pretty good. This is one of the few ones that actually is like decently designed that I think is really fun. Just keep in mind that since it is a military base and because it is a tier 4, it's going to be a lot harder than most other buildings. Can you stop? Thank you. Shoot. But there is only like a couple key spots that have a ton of zombies. So that's good news. You can also find some extra bullets and food up here. Some general piles. There's also a few boxes you can search, like the one right here. Sometimes that you can loot. You also get a couple good vehicles to break down. So it is a pretty good area to start. Just keep in mind, it is a tier 4, so it's not the easiest in the world. The first area really doesn't have a ton of zombies. This is the area where we start getting a bit more. And there are also a lot of soldier zombies in this situation, so I honestly shouldn't be using this gun. Hold on. 1 second. Fuck off. Thank you. Anyways, we kind of get to like this barracks section where there's like a bunch of beds, some bags, and some lockers to loot. So you can probably potentially find some armor. A little food section, so it might have a little bit of food in there. Nothing too crazy. You do have to go through this section, and this will trigger another group of zombies to come at you. So be careful. As you press all the buttons to open all the doors, it will trigger a lot of zombies. I usually try to trigger them all at once. I think it's a lot easier that way. It also allows you to like train a little bit better. And honestly, kind of one of the big issues with this game is fighting a horde, especially when they are spread out, is very annoying. So I just kind of trigger everything and group them all up. Now, if you're lucky, like I am right now, a lot of them are just regular zombies, they're not ferals. So it's actually not even that bad. But keep in mind, especially as you get higher up in the days, you will face a lot more real zombies. Luckily for me, I'm facing a lot of weak ones right now. We also are in a burned forest, that's part of the reason. This is like a medical area, so you got some like chem stations, med pile, all that good stuff. Couple beds and like TVs. You can all break this down for electrical parts and mechanical parts, which is really nice. In here, there's some metal chairs you can pick up and scrap for metal. Some more computer stuff to scrap. When you come through here, like you're supposed to exit through there, and then like that gate's open when you press that button. Keep in mind, there's also a tower up there. That can have food and ammo like the other one. Let's see if this one does. I did that wrong. My bad. Yeah, so there isn't any in this one for me, other than this trash, but I think it varies depending on when you generate it. So always check the towers, they can have some good stuff. Become Walter White, maybe someday. Maybe someday. There are a lot of chem stations in this game, so maybe I'll become like Walter White, where I only cooked like drugs to survive or something. That'd actually be kind of fun, Lofi. Alright, the big thing is just these jumping ferals is a pain in my ass. I don't want to shoot the gas barrel though. I don't want to break anything. Can you stop? Very nice. Anyways, this is also an area that actually has a lot of gas. So, always look around, collect all the gas that you see. Up here is how you open up the final section. There's a little hatch right there. You have to come up here. There's another button up here. You just press it. It'll open that hatch up. Oh. Huh? 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 Oh, sorry. Key opens up that hatch, and there is a few zombies down there. My bad. Yeah, parkour is very useful for this POI, because it's so open, you can kind of just jump around and, like, dodge all the zombies, you don't have to worry as much. In here, there is some equipment. Yeah, like your rack here, as well as, another gas canister, basically, some other stuff. So there's some supplies and resources, not a ton. Another vehicle to break down, which is really nice. Got another shelf in here, with some more equipment, bullet shells, or bullets. A lot of good stuff. So, if you are looking for, like, weapons, like new weapons and armor, as well as a shotgun messiah crate here, come here. There's also a lot of electrical parts because it is like a military base, like a real military base. Also got a munitions box. I will take those bullets, but all that goodies. You come down here. This is where the end loot is. Sometimes you can lockpick that, not always. But this is where all the end loot is. Hold on. That's an outside zombie. All the end loot is right here. It's quite a bit actually as well. And then you're back at the beginning. This gate opens up and you can leave. Now, if you have parkour, you can actually skip like 80% of this POI. You can literally just run through there, which is the beginning. You come out here. You can just use parkour, jump up, run to this room, open it, and you can instantly just go down there and get all the loot. So, if you have parkour, it is actually a really good smash and grab, but if you don't have it, but you enjoy doing like the clearing out of bases, this is also a really good one to do. For like loot, I think I have to give it like close to an S tier, if not an S tier. I mean, there's so many, like, equipment racks, so many boxes, and the end loot is great, as well as, like, you know, munitions boxes, munitions piles throughout the towers, right? There's so much stuff. So there's a lot of loot to get here. It's definitely, like, an S tier. Resources, it's, I would say an A tier. I don't want to go higher than A tier for resources, just because, like, it's a tier 4, but it has so many electrical parts, and it has 3 different vehicles that you can break down. There's a, there it is, right there. Forklift. So there's so many vehicles you can break down for engines and car batteries. So it's definitely a good place to hit if you need like metal, mechanical parts, car batteries, stuff like that. And there's like boxes for like paper. So if you need paper as well for like shotgun shells, it's a decent place. And gas. So it's definitely like an A tier at minimum. Maybe like a very, very low S, but I'd say A tier is pretty good. When it comes to horde base potential, the thing with this, if you like horde bases that aren't, like, on the 2nd or 3rd floor, right, and you want to build a horde base where it's, like, a turtle shell horde base, this isn't bad. But outside of that, I'm not a huge fan of that kind of horde base, so I probably wouldn't give this higher than, like, a C tier. But for a ground level base, I mean, it has pretty secure walls. They're all pretty much metal, so you can upgrade them to, like, concrete if you had the resources. So it's actually pretty decent for, like, a floor base. It also is very open, so if you just want to train the zombies yourself, like around like the helipad or something, you can do that on Horde Night. So it's not too bad, but it's not higher than a C. I don't want to give it anything higher than a C because literally what's going to happen is Horde Night starts, you're going to have zombies breaking in from every direction, and it's just going to be a pain in the ass. Like, it's going to be forever for you to find them. So it's not even going to be that fun of a horde base unless you, like, give them a spot to enter from. And so I'm sure you can make some cool stuff with it, but I don't want to give it higher than C. Just because I am worried that it's going to be like, you know, it's just going to be kind of an annoyance more than anything. Creativity, it's an S tier. I really like this one. I think it's very fun. It's a good version of a military base. The other military bases that we've done in the past are very bland. They're not fun. Like, they're very, like, open. There's no fences or anything like that. And it's very bland and boring. This one is actually, like, very unique. You, like, zigzag through buildings and stuff. There's actually a lot of loot. And it looks like a real military base to me, you know? Like, it's sectioned off with different stuff for, like, different things. Like, you have the barracks over there, you have the medical stuff over there, as well as, like, HQ, basically, where they, like, do all the technical stuff. You then have, like, the helipad with all the supplies in here. So, like, there actually is, like, a lot of creativity with this as a real military base. And it also has, you know, your typical mines going around the perimeter. So it is very good. I do like this base a lot. So it's definitely like an S tier for creativity. Overall, though, I would probably give Fort Choppa a solid S tier for a tier 4. I think it is very good overall. The one thing I would probably change is, like, the only thing you can't change is the horde base potential. But I think that's not a big enough deal to put in A tier. I think for like an actual like POI, it's one of my favorites. I would never make it a base, but anytime I see this while I'm playing like single player, I would 100% rate it for loot, because it has a lot of good loot, has a lot of good resources, and I mean, it's fun. It's actually like a fun tier 4 POI to raid, especially when you don't have like especially early on in the game where you have like mid weapons, they're not the best. It can actually be a challenge, but also like enjoyable. So overall, Fort Choppa is an S tier. For the next POI on our POI tier list, we have Midway Clinic. Now, just a heads up, Midway Clinic, you enter from the side over here where this little gate is. You can actually squeeze through the door, like it's technically open, but it's also unlocked. So you can open it if you want. And you enter through this window. So make sure you know you don't enter through the front, you enter through the window. Of course, you have a lot of triggers that'll happen because, you know, can't have triggers, or can't play this without triggers. The door is locked, so you have to obviously go through the zombie showed you. Parkour is annoying for this, because it's really hard to jump inside with parkour. So it is obviously like a medical clinic, so off rip, you're gonna find medical supplies, which is good for like electrical parts, mechanical parts. There should hopefully be some medical supplies here as well. So if you are like infected early on, and you need to risk it to find like an infection cure, this probably isn't a bad place to go. Here's someone hitting things. Anyways. Once you come into here, more stuff to search, more medical stuff to break down, all the goods. There is a light actually pointing to the rope. You can climb up this. Sometimes it's hard to see the ropes, so I do like how they put lights sometimes. They should do it more often, though. Come down here into the bathroom. Make sure you check it. If you're early enough, search the toilets. Could have a gun in there, have a pistol. Toilet pistols are useful. Don't forget that. Anyways, got a few zombies in here. Not too many, though, which is kind of nice. And you have a medical pile right there, so off-rip, potential for infection cures. These doors are locked, so you will come through here. Could have some zombies in these, so be careful. Another medical room, of course. It's gonna be a constant theme here. What game is this? It's 7 Days to Die. It's one of my first games that I've played on this channel. I do a POI ratings every week. Every week on Wednesdays is when I release the videos on YouTube. Anyways, there is some yucca fruit here, but I mean, like, unless you're gonna like do a farming game, you don't really need it. But if you're gonna like actually farm, then there you go. You have free yucca fruit without ever going to the desert. You die. Thank you. Anyways, got a little kitchen here, you know, microwave. Could search the fridge, but right now it's not allowing you to, so. Got a bookshelf, a lot of computers, which is a lot of electrical parts and mechanical parts. So for a tier 3, like for like an early to mid-game POI, that's a lot of parts to use. So if you're trying to like, you know, get enough mechanical parts for like the workbench early on in the game, this is probably a great place to hit. Activate the switch. It opens the front door as well as that like chain gate for the pharmacy. Little water, so if you need water, search that. But just a heads up, there will be a few zombies in here. When you walk through here, you'll trigger a bunch, including a cop. Cops early game can be a little dangerous, and since this is a tier 3, you know, be careful. Don't push yourself too hard. But cool thing is, you can actually search all of these shelves, which can have like, you know, sewing kits, it can have infection cures like honey and painkillers for concussions, cloth for bandages, you know, all this good stuff. Books in those, books in these as well. There's always going to be at least one medical journal in all of these piles and these wall things. Cash register, a little bit of money. And of course, don't forget the actual end loot right here with these boxes over here. Go away, please. Thank you. There's a purse, so a little bit of extra money, as well as maybe like a lockpick if you're lucky. These can work. In this world, these don't work, which sucks. But these vending machines can work, which means you can have this as a base if you want. There is also an ATM, which means a fuck ton of money. Alright, that's a free $700 cash, which turns into like 1,000 dukes plus. So, great thing to search if you're low on money as well. And you come out the front door, and you're done. There is also an ambulance out front, which is also more medical supplies. You know, we know how it goes. So, what would I rate Midway Clinic? Well, for loot, it's definitely a solid, like, A tier. For a tier 3, if even, like, maybe even, like, a very low S. It has a ton of good loot, right? You get medical supplies throughout the entire, like, not throughout, but, like, in a lot of different areas, right? You have medical pile here. You obviously have your end loot. You have the ATM for money. You have this entire section, which has, like, 3 to, like, maybe even 4 or 5 boxes to search, plus these 2 right here with the cash register. You also have books here, a wall safe right next to those books, if you're lucky and it's lock-pickable. And so, in general, you have a lot of loot in here you can get. When it comes to resources, probably like an S tier for tier 3. I mean, it has so many medical supplies, or so many mechanical parts. I mean, like, look at how many leather chairs there are alone. Like, that alone is already, like, a solid 10 to 15. And then you have all the fridge, you have the coffee maker, you have all of the beds and the TVs and the computers in each room. It's so much. It's so many medical, like equipment that you can break down for electrical and mechanical parts. Again, I think you get short iron pipes from, these beds as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you get short iron pipes, electrical and mechanical parts, and scrap polymers. So you get a lot of high-value resources that you normally don't find in abundance here. So it is actually a really good resource spot. So it's definitely better for its resources over its loot. But if you are low on medical supplies, definitely come here. This is the place to be. When it comes to horde-based potential, like, it's going to be very similar to Fort Choppa. It's probably like a C tier. Maybe even like a low... We'll say C because of the vending machines. Since these can potentially work, that means that every day you can get new food and new drink. I mean, you have to pay for it, but, like, I mean, having access to free food and drink... Not free, but, like, food and drink whenever you want if you have the money is pretty good. So, I'll keep it at C tier. But outside of that, it's not really a great horde base, right? Because zombies, when they know where you are, they're just going to break through all these walls like she's trying to do. And it's very annoying. It's just, it's not fun. And the roof is so open, zombie birds are just going to attack you. Also, keep in mind, for resources, each one of these AC, like, each pair of these AC vents and these singular ones all give mechanical parts. So that's even more mechanical parts. I didn't even check on the roof. So if you actually, like, get up to the roof, that's even more mechanical parts you can take. It's so many. Creativity. I mean, first, it's a solid, like, B tier, I would say. I like this, how, like, when you walk in and you, like, hit the glass, a zombie falls out and actually shows you the way you need to go. So I don't want to give it, like, lower than a B tier. And I also like the use of, like, the ropes and stuff, which the ropes are fairly new to the game. Because they used to just be ladders. So I do like how they use the new stuff, or, like, the semi-new stuff. But overall, it's just a clinic, right? And it's a tier 3. But I definitely will give it, like, a B tier for creativity. It's pretty good. I think if, like, every tier 3 had this quality of creativity, we'd be in a good spot in the game. So, overall, when taking all of the items into account, like loot, resources, stuff, I think it's a solid A tier, tier 3, because it is a lower tier, so we have to keep that in mind when we're rating these. I don't want to, like, rate Midway Clinic B just because it's not the most creative. But for a clinic, the amount of resources it has, which is actually, I agree with you, it's actually kind of interesting how there's so many resources, but, like, not nearly as many medical supplies. But overall, it is a great POI to raid, so I do want to give it an A tier for that. But I wouldn't set up my base here. Maybe, like, next door. Like, if there was, like, a building next door that was actually... Not fast loop. We don't need loop. If there was, like, an actual building next door that was, like, 2-story that would be nice to build a horde base in, I think building next door would be really good, because you can just have access to the vending machines whenever you want. But I don't think I'd want to actually live here as, like, a building. So, overall, Midway Clinic... Jeez. Midway Clinic is an A tier. Oh. And let me actually say this for the YouTube video. This is going to be the last POI rating on version 1.0. Or 1.1, I guess, in this case. But, like, it's the... On this update, it's the last POI rating. Because this Monday of... or not this Monday. A week from this Monday, on the day of this recording, June 16th, the new update for this game comes out. 7 Days to Die 2.0 releases. So I will be doing, I think I'm doing a 24-hour stream on that Monday, hopefully. And so we'll be playing this for 24 hours. And then I will hopefully do a POI rating on that day in the new update. Like, I'll find 2 buildings while I'm doing my regular survival, and I'll raid them and like rate them if I remember. And that way, the next one that's being uploaded will be in the new update. so that way we can always get the most up-to-date stuff on these POIs. So hope you guys are enjoying it so far. I mean, it's one of my longer series that people actually watch, so I am okay with that. I'm hoping people are liking it so far. And yeah, so the next one will be in the new update on the 16th, and I think that means it's going to be uploaded on the 18th. So if you're watching the next one on the 18th, that is going to have the new update.